Oh my god, it's so hard recording a YouTube video in another language. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Flavia, and these are all the pieces I've created with my sewing machine in 2024, my first year of sewing. So for a little bit of context, I had never touched a sewing machine before, but I started watching some videos online of some girls sewing and it just seemed so easy. So I decided to give it a try. However, I live in a really small space, so I didn't think I had enough space for a sewing machine and all the accessories and the fabrics. But my husband just got sick of listening to me speak about sewing and not buying a sewing machine, and he found a secondhand sewing machine on Le Bon Coin, which is kind of like a secondhand online shop kind of thing in France. And it was close to where we live, so we went and got it for 50 euros, I believe. And it was a perfect gift. He ended up buying it for me, and I'm so grateful because I had so much fun sewing this year. You're gonna see that nothing is professional, it's very amateur, but I had a lot of fun, and I actually wear most of what I made. Basically everything I made is more like summer appropriate, and now it's winter, so I'm not using anything, but I did use it a lot during summer. And in December this year we also went to Brazil, so I got a lot of use of everything. So I wasn't sure if I had enough space, and it is true, it's very tight. So every time I bought a fabric, I tried to make the most of it. You're gonna see a lot of the pieces are with repeated fabrics. I also don't have an iron or an ironing board, so all the pieces are very wrinkly right now. I'm sorry about that. And also, if there's anyone watching who sews, you just know that my finishing is not professional because I don't have an iron. So I do what I can. I'm doing this for fun just because I wanna exercise my creativity and I like creating things. But anyway, I'm just rambling. Let's get started and I'll just show you all the pieces I've done this year. This is the first project I worked on. It's a top that I made following the tutorial by the Essentials Club. It's very easy. It was very easy. I think I made it in, I don't know, like 3 hours. It was my first time doing anything. I actually had a little bit of difficulty with the straps because they turned out being too loose. I had to fix, and I didn't really know how to fix that well, but I actually really like this and I wear it a lot with just like jeans or shorts. And I love this fabric. It's got like palm trees and little waves. Like I said, it's not professional, but it was my first piece and it really gave me a confidence boost to keep trying. And on the same day I decided to make another top, and I made it with the same fabric. This top, I didn't follow any tutorials. I just figured by watching the Essentials Club tutorial that on other tops that I could just take my measurements and just do whatever I wanted if I could create it in my mind. And so I made this. I had watched a lot of tutorials before I bought my sewing machine. I had watched so many videos on YouTube and on social media, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. And I had learned how to do this effect that I forgot the name in English now. And so I just thought this would look super cute. And also, to not have the problem with the straps anymore, I made them like 2 little straps, one in the front and one in the back, and I tie a knot here. I also was very proud of this because it just came out of my mind. Not just came out of my mind, I had watched so many videos before that I probably saw something like this and I just figured I could recreate it. And I actually love this. I don't wear it as much as I thought I would because after sewing this I realized that this style, this shape is not the best for my body shape. I have a bare body shape and it just makes my hips look larger. So I am not grabbing this, I'm not reaching for this anymore so often, but I am very proud of it. And the finishing is much more professional. Just from the first one to this one, I saw so much improvement. All right, so the third piece I made were these pants. They are like pajama pants, and I made this for my husband. And after using it for a while, he said they were too long, and so I cut them, and I cut them too short. And I have done this with 2 pants, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but this is really short. It's terrible, but he likes it. He says it's fine, it's just for sleeping. He actually uses this a lot and I'm really happy about it as well. I didn't use any pattern for this. I tried just copying a pajama pants that I already had, And considering that, I think it turned out pretty good. The only mistake I made was that when I cut the panels in the back, I didn't pay attention to the fabric and it's upside down, but it's fine. It's just pajama pants and it's just like some mushrooms and some suns. I actually like this as well. I'm very proud of it considering I didn't have a pattern for it and it was just the third thing I was making and I put elastic on it. I am not gonna say that the sewing is the most professional or that the finishing is so professional, but again, none of these pieces are. It's all very amateur, but I'm still very happy. So after that, I got a free pattern for pants from Mood Society, Mood Fabrics. I just cut it shorter to make pajama shorts for myself. I love this so much. I wear it so much, so often, and I have no issues with this. I didn't cut the panels upside down this time. The elastic is very, very comfortable. This fabric is comfortable. It's perfect. This is one of my favorite things I've created this year. And it's sad because I can't wear it outside. It's also very transparent, very see-through, but I wish I could wear this all the time. Next, I made another top wearing that same fabric of the two first tops, just because I still have this fabric and I wanted to use it before I bought new fabric, new options. And I also wanted to use the elastic line to try to do this effect that I also don't remember the name now. It took me a while to understand how my machine works with the elastic thread, but after I figured it out, everything was perfect. And I finished this really quickly as well. I also made straps that I can tie. It fits perfectly. Again, I ended up figuring out that this style, like Peplum style, is not the best for my body type. I also feel like I have broad shoulders and this very thin strap doesn't make me feel the prettiest, and I wore this a lot, I used this a lot, but I feel like I'm not gonna keep reaching for it so often, but I'm still very, very proud, and I learned a new technique with this, so I'm also very proud of this. I'm proud of all of them. I'm gonna say this after every single piece I show you, except the next one. So this is my biggest fail of this year. I went to the fabric store with my husband and I told him that if he chose whatever fabric he wanted, I would sew something for him. And he chose a very stretchy fabric. It was my first and only piece I have done using this type of fabric. This was so hard. It was so hard. Again, I have a very small space, so just cutting this was really hard because I didn't have so much freedom to hold the fabric down, and I don't even know how to explain, but I was so focused on making the stitches work, making my machine sew through this, that I ended up sewing the two legs on one side, and I was already so frustrated by the machine that I didn't want to remove all the stitches and sew it again on the right side. And so I asked my husband if he preferred having one leg inside out or one leg kind of like the back facing the front, and we came to the conclusion that it was better to just put one leg inside out. The problem is it would be fine because this fabric doesn't really have a right side, but I had done pockets. I had added pockets and now the pocket keeps coming out, and so he wears it like that. I hate this. I am really not proud of this one. It was so frustrating. I never want to use a stretch fabric again. I think I need to get much better at sewing before I start using this fabric again. Or I just need to learn better how my machine works because it was really a struggle. Also, after I finished this pants, he asked me if I could cut them like the other one, and so I also feel like it's pretty short. I don't like this at all. He loves it though. I'm gonna show you some details. Look at the stitches. So after I gave up on stretch fabrics, I decided to make another shorts, pair of shorts. I bought more fabric because I had already used a lot of the fabric I had before, And so I bought this navy blue cotton fabric, and I made the shorts that are the same pattern as the mushroom shorts, pajama shorts. I was scared that this fabric was gonna be see-through, and so I doubled it everywhere. So it's very thick. I wear this so much. I wore this so much in Brazil, so much during summer in France. My only regret is not adding pockets, but since I was doubling it everywhere, it was already a little difficult for me as a beginner. I am very, very happy with this. This is also one of my favorite ones. I guess the thing I liked the most sewing this year was shorts. I love this. Also, after I made the shorts, I also made a cropped top to match this and to finish using this fabric. I don't know where it is. I misplaced it. I don't know if I forgot it in Brazil, if I left it somewhere. I have no idea where it is. I searched everywhere. It was also very fun to do because I didn't have a pattern for it. I just saw a top on Pinterest and I wanted to try to recreate something like that. I don't use it very often because it doesn't have straps. And again, I realized that my shoulders are pretty broad and I just don't feel good in it. But I am very proud of it. Considering that I didn't have a pattern for it, I feel like I did a pretty good job. And I don't know, maybe if I have a friend or someone who is interested in it, I will end up giving it away just because it is good quality, I feel, but it just doesn't feel like me. This piece I am also not very proud of just because the finishing is not good. I wanted to make like a Ganni style top. I also didn't have a pattern. I don't know why, but I am not a big fan of patterns. I don't have a lot of space to cut fabric, and so I'm trying to do the easiest way possible, and I guess that's without a pattern in my mind. And so I watched a YouTube video that I will link to do this. It turned out really cute in the girls video, but I ended up with a big gap here, and I never wear it just because I don't know how to wear this. I don't know if it's a Ganni top problem with every piece of this style. I don't know how people wear tops like this with a big gap in the chest like this, but I don't know if it's just me. I don't like it. I have never worn this. I don't know what to do with it. With the same fabric of this little vest, I made this skirt. This fits me so well, and I guess that's the point of sewing clothes to your measurement. I have a thin waist and a large hip, and usually when I try on skirts, there's always a big gap in the back, in my waist, or it's too tight on my hips. And this is perfect. It's not tight. It doesn't leave a gap in the back. It's also not see-through because I doubled it everywhere, and so it only marks, like, depending on the underwear I have, it leaves a little mark, but not color-wise. You can't see anything through it, which is awesome with a white fabric. I'm actually really proud of it. I'm just not used to wearing skirts, and so I don't wear this as often as I thought I would, maybe. Also, my white thread ended, and I ended up using kind of a yellow thread, but I don't mind. And last but not least is this dress. I am obsessed with this. I love this so much. I also didn't follow a pattern for this. It's basically this top but with a longer panel at the bottom. Also, I made larger straps like the first top that I had done. This. And I made them in the right measurements, and so I'm really happy about that. The only issue I have with it is that I didn't leave any opening on the sides, and so when I walk, it kind of limits my steps if I need to walk fast. I think I can fix that easily. I just haven't taken the time for it, but I just love this so much. I'm very, very proud of it as well. I just think it's easy and cute, and I want to make this in every color. Also in this piece, you can see a lot of my improvement through the year. The finishing is much better. The straps are perfect. And comparing the first one and the last one, I do feel like I grew so much and I developed so much my skills. I don't know if the fabric helped also, because this is a much softer fabric and this was a little harder, like just in the texture. And just the fact that I didn't have a problem with the straps already made me really happy because it's just so easy to wear. These are all the garments, the clothes that I sewed this year, but after that, I also wanted to keep sewing, but I didn't know what to do because it's winter now. It started getting colder and I was a little intimidated by working with thicker fabrics. And now that I see that I've made like 10 or 11 pieces of clothing, I realized that I need to be more intentional about what I'm gonna sew, so I stopped for now. And I want to plan better the things that I'm gonna sew in the future. But I did sew a few little things. I went to Brazil to visit my family. I wanted to create something for my mom and my sister, and so I made them scrunchies. Just complimented other gifts that I brought for them, and it was cute and it was handmade. And I also bought Christmas fabric, and so I made this little Christmas tree ornaments and I gave them to my mother-in-law because I didn't have a Christmas tree this year. She ended up decorating the Christmas dining table with it. It was so cute. I was really happy to collaborate to the decoration and see something that I made by myself. I love sewing. Before I started sewing, I was feeling like I was consuming so much content from others, but I wasn't creating anything. I wasn't exercising my creativity, and this has been so good just to change my perspective in life and have some moments to relax and focus on one thing and take the time and put the effort into something that you create, and you get happy after. I don't know. It was a great year. I'm really happy I started sewing. I'm also really happy that I'm starting this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. It's my first video ever, so I hope you like it. And I hope you can subscribe to the channel if you liked this so I can keep posting more. And that's it. Thank you. Bye.